All right, a big game energy. Spencer, James, and Dom with you once again. We are continuing our series on why your favorite team won't win the Super Bowl. Today we are doing the Detroit Lions and the Minnesota Vikings, and then we will get into No Huddle right after that. But fellas, it's good to see you both. Dom, how you feeling there, brother? It's episode number 2 for you.
Number 2 in the books. I'm feeling great. I'm just starting to learn the lingo, what to look out for, what not to say. Not trying to get with any more pause reactions. Feeling great, man. Weather's great here in Kansas City. How you guys doing?
James?
Man, I mean, we had flooding in Norfolk, Virginia the other day, but other than that, man, hey, I'm trying. It's a good day to see Dom on a Wednesday. Dom Wednesdays, man.
Hey.
Yeah, it was 98 degrees in Houston today, so, I'm dealing with that. It is very, very hot. It's the type of heat where just the 15-second walk from my parking spot to my office, I am dripping in sweat already down my back. And it's just so uncomfortable just to start your day sweaty. And all I'm doing is walking from the parking lot into the office. It's just the worst feeling.
It's crazy work. Not feeling very invincible, are you?
No, I'm not. Hey, shout out my boy Mark Grayson. Thank you for catching that, Dom. I appreciate that.
I pay attention.
Dude,
I have no idea.
James, are you into superhero stuff at all?
No.
Okay.
Did you watch The Boys?
No.
Okay, never mind.
Even if you're
Vince
not,
has told me to do that.
I really feel like Invincible is a show that even people that aren't into superhero stuff would enjoy, because it's not just about corny superhero stuff. It's got some real world stuff in there. It makes you feel stuff in Invincible, and
there's a lot of depth to it, James.
Yes, it's not just he's the best and he's gonna win every fight. No, it's not a spoiler. Mark low-key loses a lot of fights.
Yeah.
He gets his ass kicked.
He's a Viltrumite. It's
Yeah.
running through his veins.
So good. Yeah, y'all have to get into that. But luckily, we don't have to talk about that too much longer because the offseason is coming to an end. And so, with football season right around the corner, guys, this is how we are previewing every single NFL team this year, telling you why your favorite team will not win the Super Bowl. And today we are finishing the NFC North. We are going to talk about the Detroit Lions and the Minnesota Vikings. So let's start with the Lions. The Lions are one of the trendiest teams in the NFL. It's easy to like them. They have a likable coach, likable players that are fun to watch, but they will not win the Super Bowl in 2027. They went 15-2 in 2024, and so coming off of that, high expectations coming into the season, and they did not meet them, finishing with a very mediocre 9-8 record, including 2-4 in the division. Now, they go into the offseason, make some big changes. They hire a new offensive coordinator, Drew Petzing. Taylor Decker, longtime tackle, is released. David Montgomery, Alex Anzalone, 2 veterans that this team depended on in their roles, they leave in free agency. They replace them with guys like Cade Mays at center. Isaiah Pacheco is replacing the David Montgomery role behind Jahmyr Gibbs. First round, they draft offensive tackle Blake Miller out of Clemson to shore up that offensive line. And they give a big money contract to the lone bright spot on their defense last year, linebacker Jack Campbell. So reason number 1 that the Lions will not succeed this season, Jared Goff cannot, for the life of him, stop turning the ball over. Specifically, the game this past season that the Lions were eliminated on Christmas Day against the Vikings, 6 turnovers. And that is the story that we've seen throughout Jared Goff's career.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know who's going. He is somewhat of an electrifying talent with his arm, but it also gets him into a lot of trouble. And, I mean, obviously you can't win games turning the ball over. I mean, you can, but it's highly unlikely and highly improbable that you'll win a Super Bowl, which is kind of the point of this discussion. And I think we've said it before. I've said it before. I think Jared Goff's in the famous words of Steve Smith Sr., he's just a guy who had pretty high ceiling, high expectations, but I think as time progresses, we're starting to see that he's just not that dude.
Yeah. You know what's sad, though, is that somebody's going to put him in the Hall of Fame because he racks up so much stats with being in this high-powered offense. And, again, we're in that kind of middle-tier type of talent where it's like if you can't get over the hump with the roster that you have and, you're turning over the ball. I know last year he had a bad case, but even the 2 years before, I know you remember, Spence, that Texans game. Oh, my goodness. It happens to everyone from time to time.
The Lions and Jared Goff, they do this a lot. You mentioned that Texans game. How about the game in the playoffs against the Commanders after they were the 1 seed? He turned it over 4 times in that game. And then, like I said, their season ended on Christmas because they turned it over 6 times in a game that they lost by 2 possessions. 6 turnovers in a 2-possession game. That is what will keep you up at night. And the truth is, if any of that game flipped, like 1 or 2 of those turnovers don't happen, they likely win that game, and they likely make the playoffs as the 7th seed in the NFC. And that is what is going to hold them back. Jared Goff is, to me, I know, Dom, you said he's a jag in your eyes. I don't fully put him into that category, but for me, he is one of the textbook definitions of boom and bust, ceiling and floor. Because his ceiling, we saw it last year, week 2 against the Bears. NFC Player of the Week. They've dropped 52 on the eventual NFC North champion Chicago Bears. Like, he can put up numbies, right? Mm-hmm. His season last year, 4,500 passing yards, 34 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, right? That sounds good on paper, but it's just they come in spurts. Like, he'll go 5, 6, 7 games in a row without turning the ball over, and then he just completely craps his pants and turns the ball over like 4, 5, 6 times in a game. You're not going to go far in the playoffs if you're going to have games like that pop up every now and then.
Yeah, this Lions offense reminds me of any typical NBA team that shoots a lot of threes. They live by the 3 and they don't die by the 3. And that's the Lions right there. They score a ton of points or they're going to turn the ball over a ton of times.
They're going to give you a ton of highlights.
Yeah.
But it doesn't translate to a Super Bowl. I mean, that's the whole point of this discussion. So,
Yep. Now, reason number 2, the defense. A lot of turnover from last year, and it was a unit that had some interesting players at times. Aiden Hutchinson is obviously the pinnacle of that team on defense. Jack Campbell, we mentioned him earlier, big extension. I love Aleem McNeil, but outside of that, that's just 3 guys and good players. But the rest of this defensive unit is suspect, and they just lost their former first-round pick, Terrion Arnold. He was literally holding people hostage, kidnapping them. Now he's cut from the team, gone. And so I see a big hole in the secondary. I see a very, very inconsistent front 7. It just leads me to believe this is a defense that you can't trust.
Yeah, you talk about it. You lose Terrion Arnold, roll tide. In the wrong way, but
got
to roll that out.
You cannot roll tide to Terrion Arnold, James.
But no, so you got that hole in the secondary. And then now you look at, wow, you just wasted a pick on a guy who was just you're supposed to be your cornerstone. Then you look at Aiden Hudson. He's going to do what he does. If he can stay healthy, great. But then after 14.5 sacks, you look at the guy who led second, Muhammad. I won't say his first name because I don't want to say Al-Qaeda Muhammad.
I know that's Al-Qaeda.
Okay, so I was actually pretty close if I'd have said that. But Muhammad, he goes to the Bucs. You mentioned and Zaylon. He goes to the Bucs. So it's like most of your production is gone. Even Robertson went to the Commanders. So it's like who on this team is producing? And on top of it, I know last year was more of like an emotional type with the defensive coordinator replacing Aaron Glenn. And I feel like he's okay. He's an okay DC. He's not the best, but he's not the worst. But, man, he's got his hands full this year.
Yeah, and I mean, kind of to piggyback on what you said, I mean, they were 19th in the league in rush defense, and then you lose a couple of those pivotal players on that front 7. I mean, I think that they end up trending probably closer down to like that 23, 24, 25 mark because, again, Aiden Hutchinson can't do it all. You need somebody to kind of stack on top of that. And then on top of that, with holes in your secondary, I mean, it's just going to lead to more disasters. I mean, I think they averaged 317 yards a game. That could eventually creep up to that 330, 340 mark. Now we're looking at like maybe the Dallas Cowboys type of defense.
And they're not going to win the Super Bowl, so that just means.
Yeah, check out that video. We just dropped that video today. And reason number 3, and perhaps the biggest one, because it starts at the top, but head coach Dan Campbell. Yeah, this is a guy that is beloved around the league. People love his passion for football. When I hear him start talking about football and he starts crying, it makes me start crying. It makes me emotional about football. Absolutely. He's a player's coach. Players love him, but he is someone that takes risks on risks on risks. And I know, James, it drives you nuts how often he goes for it on 4th down. And maybe Dan Campbell is, dare I say, not as good of a coach as people think he is.
Yeah, I will always sit on this hill and say Dan Campbell's the reason why the Lions aren't in the Super Bowl in Super Bowl 58 versus the Chiefs, because he again, you can be analytical all day, all you want, but when you have a big lead, get all the points you can. I just truly think Dan Campbell's lost his fastball. You mentioned everything. Everyone loves him, X, Y, and Z. I just think everyone's now who was either under him, like Ben Johnson or other guys, just know how to do it a little bit better, more efficiency with their fastball than Dan Campbell.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I think the sweetheart of the NFL, but I mean, I think that eventually all comes crashing down at one point or another, blowing big leads, the fourth down kind of thing, and going for it, which a lot of teams tend to do. But yeah, I just don't think he's that guy. I mean, we're just waiting on a Diana Taurasi situation, or what's her name? Not Diana Taurasi.
I was going to say, she's shooting the
Diana Taurasi.
That's the new scandal situation to pop up, and maybe he'll get his spark back. Who knows?
Man, I hope Dan Campbell doesn't pull a Mike Vrabel. That would be really disappointing.
Yeah, I'd be really disappointed. I mean, the only thing Dan Campbell needs to do, and he needs some personal hygiene. I think he needs to go see a dentist. That's just me. I've seen some of his teeth. Mind you, that's just a me thing. Whatever he does is his business. But man, hey man, go see a dental hygienist, as they say.
Yeah. Predictions for the Lions this year's, guys. I've got them. I'm actually being a little bit higher on them. You know, all things considered, how pessimistic we're being. I think they're a wild card team. I do think they're going to bounce back after missing the playoffs last year. We'll look at the Lions more like we looked at them in 2023 and 2024 when they were one of the best in the NFC. We're going to look at last year as more of like a down year and not more like what the standard is. But when they get to the postseason, I don't have them going far. I think I have them losing in the first round. Maybe they get out of the first round, but more than likely they are losing round one to someone.
So for me, I look at it, if they don't get off the blocks quick the first 5 weeks, I think they need to go either 5-0 or 4-1 to start the season, because after that, then you start playing your 6 division games after your bye week. Then you got some sprinkling some games like New England and Tampa. Again, can they be winnable games? Yeah, but in this league where it seems like the Lions for years have dealt with either injuries or losses that they can't replace, either coordinators or players. So I have them at 10-7. And, of course, they'll lose in the first round to an NFC North team.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm sitting right there at 10-7 as well. I mean, I think they'll be a fringe 10-9, 10-11 and win team. They'll get bounced out of the first round. They might end up making a wild card, but, you know, they're not going to win the Super Bowl for in 2026. It's not going to happen.
Y'all let us know in the comments, though. Can Jared Goff finally stop turning the ball over? Will the defense bounce back to a respectable level in 2026? And is Dan Campbell that guy or not? Y'all let us know down below.
They do need a lever.
All right. And for the next team, the Minnesota Vikings. And the Minnesota Vikings have never won a Super Bowl in their franchise history. They've gotten close, but something always goes wrong, and that will be the case again in 2026. Last year, the Vikings, they started off really, really bad. They started 4-8, and largely it was because besides a miraculous comeback against the Bears in Week 1, J.J. McCarthy was awful. One of the worst quarterbacks we have seen in a while. And for the first time in over a decade, the Minnesota Vikings had 0 Pro Bowlers on their roster last year. And that is saying something because the Pro Bowl is an absolute joke nowadays. They couldn't even get anyone to be a replacement in the Pro Bowl. Now, things did end well for the Vikings. They sneakily won the last 5 games of the regular season, including some very impressive wins, including a Christmas Day game over the Detroit Lions, in which they turned them over 6 times. So what they do in the offseason? Well, they made a very, very big organizational change, hiring Rob Brzezinski to be the new general manager. They also signed quarterback Kyler Murray after he was cut from the Arizona Cardinals to bring in competition against J.J. McCarthy. And in the draft, they shocked some people by drafting defensive lineman Caleb Banks out of Florida a lot higher than people had him on the board initially. They take him 18th overall. So, guys, reason number one and probably the largest contributor to why the Vikings are not going to succeed this year, it's a classic saying in football: if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have none.
All I know is, hey, look, Spence and Dom, the new season, Ted Lasso just dropped, and I already got my We Believe sign on Kyler Murray. God dang it, man. This quarterback room with J.J. McCarthy is rough. I'll always be a homer for Carson Wentz, but even Max, what?
Max Brosmer.
Brosmer.
His game against the Seahawks last year, that was one of the worst displays of NFL football I've ever seen. It's amazing that he's still on the roster after that game.
GOAT debate. Max Brosmer or Nathan Peterman?
Give me Nathan Peterman, low-key.
Yeah, I think you've got honestly, you've got a guy that's got to come in and somewhat prove himself. He's kind of struggled a bit with his more of his mental game, like, is he mature enough to lead this team? Is he mature enough to be a leader in the locker room? I think also it's kind of a recipe for disaster when it appears in the media that JJ McCarthy is not a big fan of this signing, that they don't really communicate well, that they don't gel well, which I think can breed a lot of animosity as well. And like you said, then it turns into having 2 quarterbacks, which equals 0. I'm not a math guy, but the math checks out. So I think that's really what it truly boils down to, at least on the first reasoning, is just, obviously with all the struggles, and I just don't think that neither one of these guys possess the talent. I mean, I think Kyler Murray possesses the talent. It's just really, again, does he possess the mental capacity to not be up playing Call of Duty at 2 o'clock in the morning, or be on the lookout when GTA 6 drops? Check that schedule. check that schedule. When GTA 6 drops, like, let's check the stats on Kyler Murray. So.
Yeah. I will say, even Spencer, you mentioned it earlier with JJ McCarthy. And again, when he first got drafted, I think me and you, Spence, we didn't agree like the Vikings should have done that. I know that it's for the future when they had Kirk Cousins, and this is who they were going to, I guess, groom into being the next guy in Minnesota. But you mentioned the Bears game, and then somehow beat the Cowboys, which, hey, I'm always a fan of, and then the Commanders game. But after that, 12 interceptions, that ranked basically 31st in the NFL, only 11 TDs. So I want to give benefit of the doubt to the guy, but he should have known this playbook his rookie year when, of course, he was out for the whole year. Again, yeah, you do got to get reps under your legs for game tape. But then again, JJ, I would hate to be like, man, this guy's already a bust, because I do believe Kyler's going to be the guy who leads this team week 1 and we'll get to reason number 3 in the transition.
Yeah.
I think Justin Jefferson likes Kyler more than JJ, but that's a me thing.
For sure. And I might be on an island by myself here. I never thought that JJ McCarthy was ever going to be anything but an average guy in the NFL when he was drafted. Like, his prototypical QB style never translates to the NFL. But because he played at somewhat of a powerhouse, a perennial college team, he got drafted, he got an opportunity. But yeah, I mean, I think learn that playbook, be ready come week 17 or whatever to come in and fill some shoes while Kyler sits on the bench.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, you never want to look at statistics in college, like college stats, like guys can play in the ACC and drop 70 points every single week, so they're going to have crazy stats. But if you have a guy that doesn't do any stats in college, that does tell me a story. If you can't put up numbers in college, that tells me a lot. And JJ McCarthy, he really was drafted because he was a winner. Yes. And he went undefeated with that Jim Harbaugh Michigan team. But there were multiple games that season where they were actively keeping the ball out of J.J. McCarthy's hands. And I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt coming out of the draft. I thought he had the potential to be like a more athletic version of Kirk Cousins. But that was always what I saw his ceiling was an athlete, but he's just a game manager at best. I never saw someone that could truly break the game and take it on his back and make things work without weapons, without an offensive line. Like, he just strapped the T on his back and do that. That's never was J.J. McCarthy. Kyler Murray maybe still has a piece of that in him.
Oh, we believe, bro.
Maybe.
We believe.
But we don't.
Yeah.
We do believe,
no.
But we don't. Yeah. Not for a Super Bowl.
No. He's got a more likely chance to – I do believe that Kyler Murray can go out and win a game with his arm. Light years ahead of what J.J. McCarthy can do.
Oh, yeah.
But – I don't think as this conversation, pertaining to this conversation, it's enough to win a Super Bowl.
I agree. Reason number 2 is sticking on the offensive side of things, because the defense was great for the Vikings last year, and I anticipate that to be the case again. But the offense, the quarterbacks have problems, and also they have some jags at running back. Aaron Jones is entering his age 31 season, y'all, and last year he looked very washed. He was dead last in missed tackle rate amongst qualified running backs last year. And then you look at the other running back in the backfield, Jordan Mason, who had some good moments and ended up being the leading rusher for the Vikings last year, but offers next to nothing in the passing game. So you have 2 guys that are like makeshift broken parts who, if you combine them into one player, you probably have a decent running back, but
For sure.
you have to spell them with each other, and neither one of them is a very dynamic guy. They're both very one-dimensional at this stages of their career. And, we just talked about the quarterbacks. If these running backs are the best they can do, they aren't going to do a good job of supporting the quarterback and the offense overall.
We would hope that the Vikings bringing in Kyler brings more of a production in the rush game. And yes, JJ can run too. I think Kyler's the better rusher than him. But you mentioned it, those two guys, and Kevin O'Connell knows it. He knows, man. He's like, damn, I'm going to have to throw this ball 40 times every game because I don't have a solidified number one guy to do the heavy lifting. Aaron Jones is way beyond light years old now, like you mentioned. And then even John Mason, even his last year with the 49ers, again, kind of the similar role that he did with the Niners is with the Vikings. So what the ceiling is 700 yards, and you got defenses prepping for you now because they know, people are waiting to schedule the Vikings because either A, it's like, all right, we got the shortest quarterback in the league, or we got a guy who can't throw the ball. So it's all out. So I feel bad for these two guys.
Yeah, it's like I can scheme to this because I'm not worried about Mason or Jones winning a game. I'm just not worried about that. It's just not going to happen, unfortunately, for them.
And reason number 3, we're talking about all this offensive turmoil. The quarterbacks are bad. The running backs are mediocre at best. The one position on the offensive side things that no one will complain about is the wide receiver position for the Vikings, because Justin Jefferson, at a minimum on anyone's list, is a top 3 wide receiver in the entire NFL. But he has put up with a lot of flack over these past few years. He's dealt with quarterback changes. They let his favorite quarterback, Sam Darnold, walk, who allowed him to have one of the best seasons of his career. And he's running it back now with either J.J. McCarthy or a new quarterback in Kyler Murray, who in his career has struggled to support wide receiver ones. It's just a recipe for a potential prima donna wide receiver situation a la A.J. Brown we just saw recently, James.
Oh, yeah.
Be doing a lot of this on the sidelines right here, flipping through them pages.
Yeah, are we going to see Justin Jefferson reading books on the sideline?
Over under how many pages? So I will say this, I don't want Justin Jefferson to leave. I'm one of those types that, like, if you sign a contract, at least play a majority of the contract until it's exhausted. But you mentioned it. He's played with Kirk Cousins, who threw him that rock. Sam Darnold threw him that rock. And now you have two guys you mentioned that just don't produce wide receiver 1 numbers. And for a guy who leads your league in yards and TDs, and he's up there with Randy Moss on trajectory, on TDs, to only have 2 last year, I do believe Justin, in a division where we may all agree is probably the most complete, if he has the same TD production again, it might be a way out. And he'll at least get traded during the trade deadline. It won't be like A.J. Brown, wait till June 1st.
Yeah. I mean, that frustration eventually has to start mounting, especially when you know what you're capable of. And then, I mean, again, we talked about defensive schemes. I mean, I think he'll still go out there and give you 1,000 yards, but it's like teams will be able to still scheme him out of a game. 1,000 yards for Justin Jefferson is kind of average, to be honest with you. Even below average, I would say, for a guy of his caliber. So, yeah, I mean, he'll start reading the Harry Potter trilogy and, ride the bike on the sideline, and we'll see what happens come trade deadline.
Yeah. And to be clear, we are all speculating here because Justin Jefferson has been the consummate professional. He's been the ideal teammate through all this hardship that he dealt with last year with his quarterback problems. Every time the media was trying to bait him into saying something negative about his quarterbacks, he had their back. He talked about being a team guy, but we just know how wide receivers are in the NFL, and one that is as good as Justin Jefferson is not going to keep dealing with year after year after year inconsistent play at the quarterback position. If those 2 quarterbacks cannot get Justin Jefferson the ball, I fear for what the outlook of his future is with the Vikings. We could see, I like the thought, it could be something we see traded mid-season, or at least, or maybe in the off-season, but if things don't turn around for Justin Jefferson this year, we will know it's not his fault, and that could lead for him to exit the door. Now, for 2026, guys, I don't have high hopes for the Vikings at all. I have them going 6-11, missing the playoffs once again.
Yeah, their tough schedule. Like, again, you look at who they start with: 2 division games, than the Bucks. They might start off the season like 0-3 from the jump. Can they get a win early in the season? Yeah. But after that, man, I don't see this team getting more than 6 wins. I have 5-12.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and give them 8. You know, I think
they figure a way.
I think they figure out a way. I think we're going to see some flashes from Kyler Murray, and they're going to go out there and they're going to give you 8. That's a bold prediction. You know, they've got an extremely tough division, but I think in this NFL, the NFL is full of surprises every year. Truly is.
Oh yeah.
You know, wilder things happen.
Yeah. There's a first to worst every year. I don't see that being the Vikings this year.
No.
But y'all let us know in the comments which quarterback, if any of them, can take the Vikings to the next level between J.J. McCarthy or Kyler Murray. Will the running backs do something, anything for the Vikings this year? And will Justin Jefferson have a bounce-back season, or will he turn his back on the organization? Y'all let us know down below in the comments. All righty. Well, let's wrap it up with a little No Huddle, James and Dom. First thing I want to talk about in our No Huddle. What?
Yeah, you go. Yeah, so you don't forget. Yeah.
I know you got like 6 things planned. Let me get mine out the way first, because I also will say I could see what I'm about to bring up. I could see this going down a rabbit hole, and then we don't even have time to get to what you got, James. Because Houston Rocket superstar Kevin Durant is out here on Instagram once again with his Twitter fingers on Instagram, whatever, that he's out here talking again. And this week he has kind of got himself in some hot water with some former teammates of his. On Instagram, he was commenting back and forth with someone, and he said basically that the 2026 Philadelphia 76ers on paper are a better team than the Golden State Warriors were whenever he was there with Steph, Clay, and Draymond Green. I'll read you his comment. It ain't close, LMAO. Joel, MVP recently. Jaylen Brown, recent finals MVP. Tyrese Maxey, all-star the last 3 years. We all know what Braun does. Klay Thompson, never an MVP candidate. Nothing. 22 points per game. Draymond, 14 points per game, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. Steph, an MVP just like Joel was. I don't get how the Warriors team is better on paper. James, what do you make of this?
KD not wrong. He's not wrong. Like, I agree with him. And man, I thought you were going to say something really outlandish, but no, I agree with KD on paper. Now, if we play the cards how it gets played, I would say the Warriors are, because who's taking down the 2, basically you could say the 3 top efficient scorers in the league in history. But on paper, yes, if I matched up 1v1, I'd take Steph over Tyrese Maxey. Yeah, I'd probably take Clay over VJ. But then you go to everyone else. I'm a Braun guy. I'm taking Braun over KD any day of the year. I'll take Jaylen Brown over anyone. And then I'll take Joel over whoever the Warriors had at the 5, and that was Kalon.
You're taking 41-year-old Braun over prime Kevin Durant? Is that what you just said?
Oh, yeah.
Because we're comparing the 2026 Sixers and the 2017, 2016, 28, whatever those years were, Warriors. So you're saying, James, 42-year-old Braun over prime finals MVP Kevin Durant. You are on drugs.
Hell yeah, brother.
You're a hater, you're a Braun sexual, and you're on drugs.
I'm not going to go that far, but the truth does it. On paper.
How?
On paper.
But this is what I don't understand. How are they on paper better? Because what he didn't mention in his comment also, you throw in Andre Iguodala versus VJ Edgecombe. If we're just looking at the starting 5 there, like you got the Warriors lineup of death, and you got the 76ers lineup this year, right? I think first off, if you put all 10 of them on a sheet of paper and you drafted the best players there, I think Steph Curry and Kevin Durant go 1-2. And that right there is enough for me to say they're a better team on paper, because those are your 2 superstars. Prime Kevin Durant, prime Steph Curry are better than what we see on the 76ers right now. They are better than Joel Embiid. They are better than Jaylen Brown. They're certainly better than 42-year-old Braun.
Sure. On paper, who's the better defensive team? I think it's the Sixers.
I actually don't.
I think it's the Sixers by a long shot.
No, a long shot. They have Draymond Green and Andre Iguodala, 2 of the best defensive players of their generation.
What's Max? You sound like Max. Give me Iguodala.
Give me Iguodala. Oh, God. But give me Iguodala, man, for sure.
Yeah, they're talking about finals MVP Iguodala.
I don't want him to with the death rate. That's all Kellerman. I just want Iguodala's defense.
No, I'm with Dom on this. Like, I would give the edge defensively to the Sixers. I'd give offensively to the Warriors. That is for sure. Because
But I think the gap is much wider on the defensive side of the ball than it is the offensive side of the ball for those teams on paper. Again, on paper. We're just talking on paper.
yeah, because you know what's gonna happen. Someone's gonna do that, and they're gonna be like, "Well, we're gonna play 2017 rule."
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah,
You
yeah,
get Shaq on there. Like,
Yeah.
who gonna guard me, man? Nobody played me 2003. No, like on paper, I do believe the Sixers. Again, even you mentioned LeBron 42, but somehow he's still dropping 25 a game. That's
what Clay averaged as the third best player on that Warriors team.
Yeah. Again, there you go.
Okay,
Yeah.
so those
LeBron's a better
Yeah,
defender.
you cancel those out.
Not at 42. He walks on defense, and James knows that's
But
true.
when it comes down to crunch time,
I can't do that. I can't
Crunch
do that
time.
with Dom on that one.
No.
Crunch time. Chase down block. Yeah.
No, not in his 40s.
Okay,
Y'all
Dom was
have to
in
remember
crunch
he
time.
is old now.
that's what I'm saying. At crunch time, I think he'll give you. LeBron still has an extra gear in very, very, very small moments on the court. I think.
Again, Spence. Again, on paper, I would even. This is me being nice. I would wash out KD and LeBron. I'd wash out Jaylen Brown and Clay. So then it's
you
take
can't
Steph.
just wash prime KD with 42-year-old Braun. Prime Braun clears prime KD. I'm with you there, and I know you're big on that.
Sure.
Prime Kevin Durant, 42-year-old LeBron. This is a silly discussion. There is no debate. It is KD by a country mile.
Technically, shut your mouth. It's 41. He ain't there yet.
Whatever.
You got till December, right?
Yeah,
He'll be 42 when this year's playoffs come around.
Sure. Hey, I'm taking the word of you, like you said, MVP. Finals MVP. These are his words. I'm just,
and to be fair, I am going against my own team superstar. He is a Houston Rocket, and I do defend that guy.
So.
But I do think he's a bit crazy for saying this. I think that Warriors team, I truly believe, is the greatest team in NBA history. I think you line up any champion, those two Warriors championship teams, you line up any champion from years past, like this past New York Knicks team, that's a sweep. Man. The Thunder, maybe not a sweep, but that's Warriors in probably six. Like, there's no team in the past decade that is touching that Warriors team, period.
No, I
won't 73 win
that.
team. Somebody did touch that team, though.
But that wasn't Kevin Durant.
Just saying.
That was who? GOAT Giants.
What was considered to be the greatest team ever assembled.
Yeah, but they added Kevin Durant to that team on paper.
Cheater.
That is the best team on paper ever. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. That's why it doesn't make sense to me. That was a team that won 73 games. Then they added Kevin Durant.
I'm
not the best team on paper.
Joel Embiid, Jaylen Brown.
Joel's getting like third.
Tyrese Maxey. I mean, like, that team is, especially off the bench too, that team on paper is really good. I'm just saying on
Really,
paper.
really.
I don't. Now you in a 7-game series, sure, it's completely different.
Sure.
Steph will shoot him out the gym. KD will shoot him out the gym.
Yeah.
But I think on paper it matches up well.
Now, I will say I didn't look into like comment sections and what the discourse around this is. I've just reacted to this myself. That's why I wanted to run that by y'all, see what y'all's thoughts were. But I am intrigued to see what people will think about this. Are the Warriors from 2017, 2018, when they were killing everybody and running dudes out the gym with that death lineup, are they really not as good as this 2026 team? Again, just on paper, I just don't see it. I don't see it at all.
Just line it up on 2K, bro. You get your answer.
Yeah. Run the sim, auto sim.
Or who's playing? Who's playing who? Because I am washed at 2K now. I used to be a god. I am so washed now.
Auto sim, like you said. I ain't touching the sticks, man.
That was all I got, James.
I do have a quick one.
Okay.
James, if you want to go. This is just a random stat I came across. But I know you're kind of a betting man. What would you say over their these guys' last seasons at 1,000 total yards of these guys combined? Dalvin Cook, 2024 season. Leonard Fournette, 2023 season. Ezekiel Elliott, 2024 season. David Johnson, 2022 season. Jordan Howard, James Robinson, and Phillip Lindsay.
Hold on. God dang. Hold on. I got to guess all these guys over. God.
No. Combined.
Oh.
Combined.
Oh. Okay.
Over under 1K.
Okay, say the year.
Total.
That is nasty work.
That is so. I was like, damn, this man's gonna make me say everyone, but all of them
combined.
Yo, I'm just gonna like.
He
wants me to say the over, but I'm just gonna go with the under. Give me the under, Dom.
It's under by quite a bit. I mean, we got Dalvin Cook, 2024, 8 carries, 20 yards. Leonard Fournette, 12 carries for 40 yards. Zeke's had the best at 74 carries for 226. David Johnson, 12 for 24.
Yeah, that was for
Jordan
the Texans. That was
Howard,
terrible.
1 for 1. James
Oh,
Robinson. And these were guys that were like, I mean, Philip Lindsay. I mean, I thought he was like a sleeper pick for me in
undrafted
fantasy.
free agent, had 1,000 yards as a rookie, and then just fell off
the face of the earth. So, yeah, I just thought that was interesting. All right,
that is crazy. But
that's crazy.
I
It
knew it was a
shows you
dead
the
giveaway
talent level
for me
of-
when I thought about 2022 David Johnson in a Houston Texans jersey. Just cancer. Just terrible.
All right, man. Heck, let's get to No Huddle. All right, I got 3 quick ones. We'll make it easy for y'all because the last time I think y'all struggled a bit with top 10 arrests in college football. But let's just do.
We got like 7.
Y'all did pretty well.
Yeah.
All right, let's go easy. We talking football. Give me the top 5 active rushing yard leaders, active running backs right now.
Derrick Henry.
1,
Christian McCaffrey.
6,
Saquon.
2.
Well, you got him. Christian's missed a lot of time.
Yeah, and a lot of his yards come from
The
the
pass.
receiving side. Yeah.
Give me
Is Adrian Peterson still active?
No.
I wouldn't be surprised. He's still out there. He played forever.
Honestly, David Montgomery.
9.
Okay. All right. We're doing top 5, right?
Top 5.
Kamara.
Yeah, Alvin Kamara.
7.
Dog, that's crazy.
I'm running the gambit of like teams, but everybody I'm thinking of that's great now.
Jonathan
is,
Taylor.
5.
There
Okay.
we go.
There you go. You need
Wow,
3
he's
and
number
4.
and he's number 5.
Yep. He beat out McCaffrey by 9 yards.
That's crazy. He's that much more productive than Kamara, though.
Especially we're talking active. I mean, Kamara's been in the league
For a
yeah.
minute.
Yeah, they were.
Heck,
he
I
was
remember the
like-
Christmas game. I was like, oh my
Yeah.
God.
6 tutties, yeah.
All
Oh,
right, we
Aaron
need-
Jones. We were just talking about him.
I was hoping no one was going to
Yeah.
guess him because
Right.
y'all were calling him a jack. Number 4.
Yeah.
Well, he's 31 years old.
Yeah,
so.
that's just volume.
We need
So,
number 3.
we got
NFC.
Derrick-
NFC.
NFC. We mentioned Saquon. We mentioned NFC. Active.
Don't give me a hint, but is it stupid?
No.
Okay.
No.
No way.
This
It's
is-
Kyron Williams, right?
No.
Okay.
Not on the list.
James Conner.
No.
Wow.
He's number 10.
Dang.
Holy smokes.
I was going
What's
on
the yardage? Can I get the yardage?
7,803 yards.
Wow. Okay. So he's had an exceptional career.
Spence.
Oh, Josh Jacobs.
I was ready.
Yeah, all right,
John
yeah,
Jacobs.
all right, I'm
number-
like-
I was ready to say Spence is my favorite 2-word phrase, and then he was going to figure it out.
Speaking of, didn't he get into some trouble recently?
Yes, he did.
Can you run back that top 5 though?
Yeah, top 5. We got Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, Aaron Jones, Jonathan Taylor. Then at number 6, Christian McCaffrey. 7, Alvin Kamara. Number 8, the only quarterback on this list, Lamar Jackson. 9, David Montgomery, and 10, James Conner.
Wow.
All right, let's go to the next one. Your boy, Bijan Robinson, got paid. Woo! Can you guess the top 5 highest paid running back, receiver, and tight end trio by team?
Well, let's get those Falcons out the way because they just paid everyone.
Number 1 at $260.9 million.
We're talking, you said quarterback, wide receiver,
Running
tight
back,
end.
receiver, tight end. No quarterback. That would be fun.
Yeah, that'd be
How about
nuts.
Eagles? Because they paid Goddard and Devontae Smith, and Saquon's the highest paid running back.
No, not in the top 8.
Give me someone just signed.
Is it a singular wide receiver?
Yeah, just one
Okay.
receiver. Yeah.
Man, James, you're cooking us today.
I'm so sorry.
What is going on?
How about Vikings?
Number 2
Mm-hmm.
at $216.5 million.
Yep, it's the we got to think.
What about,
we got to
what
think
about
tight ends.
Pittsburgh.
Number 8.
Okay. Cowboys. Are we talking recently?
We're
Yeah,
talking about right
currently,
now.
Yeah.
Cowboys.
Yeah, Cowboys number 3 at 210 mil.
See, I wanted to guess them, but that's what threw me off because I was thinking like it would have been CD and George Pickens. I didn't
Yeah.
think Jake Ferguson got paid. He must have.
Enough to. I mean,
Yeah.
So-
CD got a lot of money for sure.
CD, yeah.
yeah.
And then Javante just got paid.
Yeah, he's one of my fantasy keepers. Let's see here. So we got Cowboys, we got Falcons.
Oh, can I ask a question? When was this stat put out?
1 day ago.
All right, give me the Ravens.
Number 4 at
Mhm.
209
Mhm.
million.
Mm-hmm. That was They just paid Zay Flowers. That was the one.
And then number 5, it is an NFC team.
Another NFC team. Give me the
Can't be
Niners.
Detroit.
No.
Ooh, the Niners was a good pick though. That was a good pick.
I mean, they've just signed a few guys recently. Washington.
No. All right, last guess. I'm not going to do this to you all night. Hey, Trezzy, y'all gonna get pissed off when I say it.
I know, and it's gonna. It's NFC team. Have we talked about them recently?
Me and Spence have. You have not with us.
Okay, the Packers.
No. All right, last guess, Spence. Giving it to you.
Man, I don't think it's right, but I'm gonna go with the Bears.
Nope. Number 5, the New Orleans Saints at $202.8 million.
Oh yeah, because they just signed Olave. They signed ETN, and yeah, I think they did pay Juwan Johnson also, huh?
Yeah. So the number 6 is the Jets, number 7, the Seahawks, and the number 8, the Steelers.
The Jets, Brees. Who's their
You got
target?
us.
I guess Sadiq being on a rookie contract really inflates that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. That's it for me because I don't want to do one more because we'll be all night.
We are getting up against the time, but good stuff tonight, y'all. We will be back next week, and we are continuing our series Why Your Favorite Team Won't Win the Super Bowl. It is going fun, and we're seeing a lot of emotion out of some of these fan bases, man. No one's really caught on what we're doing yet. People are just getting mad at us, but I love it.
Yeah.
So y'all let us know in the comments which teams y'all want to see us talk about next. And until next time, for Dom, for James, I'm Spencer. We'll see y'all next time on Big Game Energy.
Peace.